Hey everybody, GC Performance here, back with another video, and today we're taking a look at a bunch of new stuff by Specialized. We're going to be taking a quick look at their Specialized mountain bike lineup, and also talk about this here that kind of got leaked a couple days ago, which we saw a Specialized rider on, which was neither confirmed nor denied that it could be the new Specialized Epic. We'll talk about this bike, we'll talk about maybe the tech behind it, but also on this bike, there's a bunch of new mountain bike stuff, which we'll talk about, and also some things you maybe didn't see as well. And then later on in the video, we're going to be touching base on the road department as well. Talk about where I think it's going to be going, some confirmed nor leaked stuff as well by Specialized, and just talk about what we can assume from Specialized what's going to happen. Because for a while now, there has not been anything new released by a lot of their products, which we're going to get a deep dive in for their whole mountain bike category and also their whole road category. So if you are getting into the sport, if you are waiting for something to be released or whatever, it seems like maybe this year could be the year that we see some facelifts and stuff. You got to think, the Specialized Tarmac SL7 was released in 2020, mid-July. It's been dominating the market for a while now. It's still competing against bikes that were released last year, this year, whatever it is. It's still a bike that you will put up there as a top-tier bike in terms of competition. And same with the Epic as well. The Epic has been a household name, a competitive weapon. When you think cross-country, you think of the Specialized Epic, and so this seems to be a big change. If they're even going to make this the Epic, we don't know yet. So we're going to talk about those things as well. I love it. I like new tech like this. I like to see this black cover up right here on this rear shock. It reminds me back in the day, like 20 years, 19 years ago, sorry, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, when they had the old Specialized Epic, when it first got released, and they were like riding with, just pros were riding with trash bags on the brain to cover up. It's exciting to me. I like to see this type of stuff. It creates a buzz. But yeah, so stay tuned. I'll put some timestamps down below there to let you guys know. The first part will be mountain bike, and then we'll go into the road bike section as well. But the mountain bike stuff has a ton of stuff. I'm very excited for this. So we can see here a Specialized rider riding on what looks to be like a covered up rear shock, and what it looks to be as well a total revamp of what we would assume be an Epic. There is no markings on here that this is an Epic, but this is obviously a cross-country bike. Looks to be 100 mils of travel. It has a Specialized brain logo on the front fork. And then we have a cover-up sleeve for where the rear shock would be. Now, a ton of people saw this, and they basically all just said super caliper, like the Trek super caliper. This is Trek's bike right here. This was 100 millimeter travel in the front with a rear shock of 60 millimeter travel by Fox with kind of like a lockout on there as well, which was a cross-country weapon as well. The idea behind this bike that because this shock was so proprietary, because it was so hidden, it was able to make a very lightweight cross-country bike. And 60 mils of travel, people figured that's all you could really need, or all you could need if you're riding on that course. And Specialized never really had a bike to compete with it. It was like a hardtail with just a little bit of travel, what you needed. So people were like, hey, that's a really fast bike. Jump forward to this now. It looks to be like Specialized might be going that way. Everyone's making that assumption because of the fact that it doesn't seem to have as bulky as the linkage on the bottom. It looks to be stuck up against the top tube right here as well. And then also for the rear struts, I did my best on here, kind of see where it connects to the seat stayer here. It just seems to be going completely into there. They did a good job of covering up this rear one. This looks to be a bolt right here. I don't know, but it doesn't seem like to have like a drop down yoke or pivot point right here like it used to for the bolt. They did do some reconstruction to this bottom bracket area as well. They beefed this thing up. And then also they made this linkage right here. So if you look at this bike side by side, boom, it kind of has similar geometry to it. A nice top tube to the rear stays. Nice top tube to the rear stays. Her on this bike looks very fluid, looks very stiff. Minimal travel movement, same in the front as well. But we don't know the travel yet. We don't know what's confirmed. We don't know if it's a Fox shock. We don't know if it's just a copy and paste of the Trek Super Caliper. My opinion is that I also did some digging and I couldn't find a brain on this rear shock. It looks to be like they don't have a brain for the rear fork. There's nothing sticky on here. So if there is a brain, there's two things that I'm assuming on here. And Specialized has not told me anything. These are just my assumptions. It appears to be, what I'm guessing is that this could be the brain could be proprietary and be made into the shock now. Where like literally you're going to have just a shock with maybe a little runoff right here for the brain. It's still going to be the inertia valve where it's going to make it firm until you actually hit a bump, and then it's going to go soft. And maybe they made some kind of implications there where it's a better shock all in one, where you don't need this whole hose going down to a brain back here. Who knows? Or two, I've talked about this before when this first released. This was the Diverge STR made by Specialized. This was a new release bike by them. It's a gravel lineup with 30 mils of travel for this rear stay. And the way they designed this bike, they made this bike fully rigid by making just a seat post being able to go back and forth like this. So this whole bike is completely rigid laterally, so you're not losing any power or momentum. It's just giving you the suppleness you need for that seat post to go kind of back and forth. Maybe they took some kind of add-on to this tender right here and maybe made it to 30 mils, 50 mils, 60 mils of travel, whatever they figured the number they needed for that. And they have the technology for their own future shocks. They're making their own future shocks in the house. Maybe they made something super lightweight like this, like a little cartridge, because these future shocks just basically little cartridges right there, and they implement it into here. That's what I'm getting from this. These are the kind of vibes I'm getting from that. But it looks lightweight. It looks fast. I'm assuming it could either go one or two ways. It could be the redone of the Epic, or it could be the redone of the Epic hardtail, because we haven't seen any redones of Epic hardtails yet. They haven't really changed anything of it. And there has been slow production of the Epic FSR models as well. So we don't know what we're going to see there, but I'm excited for it. Also on these bikes, which is still crazy, we still see this kind of prototype of this SRAM group set right here that has been on every single pros bike out there. I think Nino's even won stages on it. Everyone's riding this SRAM group set out here. There's literally been articles on it by Bicycle Rumor and Bicycle Radar. Still nothing, no release date by SRAM, nothing, SRAM doesn't talk about it, but that's still out there to be done with. It looks like to be a lighter weight version of SRAM XX1 Eagle Axis, different buttons as well, different shifters with a direct mount to this derailleur hanger. There's no more derailleur hanger on there. We're still waiting for that, which is crazy. But if we look also at this picture right here, boom, this gives you a better idea at the front cockpit of it. So Specialized has a new Roval carbon fiber one-piece bar and stem combo. Get out of your mic. So it's supposed to be a little more integrated. But looking at this picture even more, there's some subtle differences. So not only did you get the one-piece bar and stem combo to make it lighter, yes, it's going to be lighter, but to swap out your stem, that's going to be a pain in the butt. But we go here, boom. We can see on this bike, these are new level brakes as well. These are new SRAM brakes. They put out a patent for these things so that way they're not sticking so far out like they used to. They're more tucked in to be more aero and flush against the bar. So these are full brand new brake design. But also we have what looks to be this brake cable is ran internally into this head tube and then maybe going down all the way down to this back brake line right here. So you're getting an integration of a brake hose inside here as well, whereas before the brake line would just kind of go in here. Don't know why they did that. Maybe it's going to be some kind of implication for that shock as well to maybe add a lockout to it. But it looks to me like they're trying to make this bike light as hell, and they might achieve that as well. Also, this looks to be a new iteration of an upper for this SID SL fork. These uppers don't usually look like this, so this looks to be a new iteration of the SL. So not only on this bike do we have a new group set by SRAM, which is the XX1 axis, we have what looks to be a new rear shock on a so-called Epic or Epic Hardtail or whatever they're going to call this bike, a cross-country bike by Specialized. We have new brake levers by SRAM, and we have a new Specialized Revolve bar that, again, I have no price point on. I don't know when it's releasing, and I have no information on the brakes, the bars, the group set, or this bike yet. But pros are riding them, and it seems to be exciting, and we'll see what happens. So that was the information on the mountain bike range. Not only are they releasing this mountain bike, or are they going to be releasing this mountain bike maybe later on this year, because usually when they show a rider on a bike, I think UCI requires it to be released to consumers within 6 months. So I'm guessing it might be this year we should see this bike because they're getting pretty close to it. But also, I mean, you got to think about Specialized line as a whole for the mountain bike range. We haven't seen any kind of stump jumper revamps in a while. We haven't seen any kind of enduro revamps in a while. The Epic Evo as well has been out for close to 3 years now. Nothing there as well. So the Epic Hardtail as well. There's a lot of bikes there that we still have not seen a revamp to. We're seeing more and more components come out. We're seeing SRAM come out with some crazy components. We still haven't seen a wireless XTR version of Shimano. So there's a ton of untapped new stuff to come out for the mountain bike market. Now that we got that fun stuff out of the way, I'm excited for this. I want to see this thing in person. I want to see how it is. Might be a pain in the ass to work on. I don't know. But the bike looks stiff. It looks fast. I'm excited for it. Now for the road bike category. I thought that was going to be much shorter, but it was not. What we have for the road bike category, I've got so many questions about when will a new bike be released? Is it an SL8? Is it a Venge? Especially is going to bring back a Venge. Are they going to make them together? What happened with the Aethos? What about the Roubaix? There's so many unanswered questions here. And the Tarmac SL7 has been such a great bike for so long, no lie. Like, they did a great job with that bike. They took away a lot of confusion by removing the Venge for everyday consumers. They made the Tarmac SL7 super fast and super light, and then you can just add deep dish aero wheels in there. So they did do a good job, but I had so many people asking me questions, especially when they saw these pictures come out. This was a new handlebar made out by Roval, a one-piece bar and stem combo for the Tarmac SL7. Now, people might say to yourself, why would they release a new handlebar and stem combo for a bike that's been on the market for 3 years? It makes no sense. Why are they bringing this out when the Rapide was doing so well? They first released the Tarmac SL7 with the Aerofly 2 handlebar, came stock with a bike. Then 2 years later, they released it with the specialized the Roval Rapide handlebar, which was a newer rendition of the Aerofly, made it thinner, brought in the curves more so it didn't hit your wrist while sprinting. And that was an amazing bar. People love that bar. And then you see this bar right here. It does kind of follow suit to every other brand out there. You got to think. All these high-end brands like Pinarello, like Madone, like Colnago, like Scott, whatever they are, all have a one-piece bar and stem integration system on there. One, it's going to cost more money for consumers to buy one, so if they want to get something new for a stem swap out. But two, it's also lighter and a stiffer platform. When you have a whole one-piece carbon mold of a bar and handlebar stem combo, when you're sprinting on that thing, when you're climbing on that thing is not going to move at all, and it's going to be super stiff. But again, why would they release it at this point? Why wouldn't they release it 2 years ago? It's not that crazy to think about. So everyone's asking me, is this for a new bike that's coming out? Are they bringing back a Venge because it looks pretty beefy? I have not heard anything from Specialized. They've kept me in the dark more now since I have the YouTube channel. If I had to make predictions of what I think it would be, or assumptions of what I would like it to be, obviously I want the Venge back. I've talked to you guys about this multiple times. The Specialized Venge to me is their fastest bike for flats like South Florida. I absolutely love it and absolutely adore it. What I hope to see happen, let's do this one. What I hope to see happen is they separate them again. I love the one bike to roll along like the SL7, but I would like to see them do a full-on tarmac like a climbing bike and the Venge as well. They have the Specialized Aethos that is an amazing bike. The product itself, its bike is really, really good. I like the bike itself. But I don't think it did a good job at marketing. I don't think a lot of people knew what it was about. It was out for about a year, and every time they recommended someone, people didn't like it as much. The people who own one, they absolutely love the bike. What I would like to see from people with the Aethos, or what Specialized do with Aethos, take the SL7, do whatever kind of changes you want to make to it, but stick it as a climbing bike. The SL7 was an aero bike. Give the new bike, whoever it is, the tarmac, give it aero features again. But take this carbon layup that you use for this Aethos, this super lightweight Aethos that you made like 595 grams for a large. Take that carbon fiber layup, stick it on the tarmac. Okay, call it an SL8, call it whatever you want to be. Stick that on that bike, make it a crazy light climbing bike with aero capabilities. That'll be a badass bike. And then dig your heels into this dog of a bike, Specialized Venge. Make this thing a tank. Beef this thing up with carbon. Or even take some of the Aethos compatibility and make it super lightweight and make it just a crazy lightweight aero bike and bring that Venge back. I think that you literally are going to dominate the market again like they did with the SL7. Do I think that this bar was made for a new bike? In my opinion, yes. I would have to guess so. Also, if you guys are also avid cyclists and not only care about race day stuff, it's been such a while since they've done anything to the Specialized Roubaix. I have not seen a Specialized Roubaix in so long. They have them available to order in stock, but again, it's been about that 3-year mark, and everyone knows in the bicycle industry there needs to be some kind of update for these bikes. The Roubaix did so well with the new redesign. They lightened it up. They made it just as aerodynamic as the SL6. They gave it a D-shaped seat post. They had the Future Shock. It was a great bike, but it's been so long that we're waiting to see something like that. So it's a crazy time for you to be a Specialized fanboy. I'm still waiting in the dark. I haven't had as much content because of the fact that it's been almost the same things for so long. At this point, I think the whole lineup could get a whole refresh. And I think Specialized is going to do that, and I think they're going to dominate the market. It's been so long. I think they're just waiting for the right time to go ahead and release the stuff, and having that COVID catch up to COVID. But usually when we do see new product for everything in the world, SRAM, Shimano, bikes, everything, it's usually around Tour de France time. So we'll see what happens there. But I'm excited. You guys know as soon as I get any kind of information, you guys will hear here first. But if you guys have any questions, let me know down below. If you guys have any comments, let me know down below. You guys always send me stuff. I very much like it. But I'm excited to see what this future brings. We're starting to see more and more bikes come to light. And the reason why I don't think we've seen any of these new road bikes, like you guys might be asking yourself, well, if they're out yet, why haven't we seen them yet? Like I mentioned before, I think as soon as we see a pro rider riding a production bike by a company, I think they have at least 6 months or 8 months by UCI to get it to a consumer's hands. So once you see a pro on a bike, they need to get it to be able to buy in the consumer's hands. Like Flip Ogana's 3D printed bike, that was like $60,000. They only made one of those bikes, and that was one of the biggest things, was that once they made that bike, they had to make it available to the whole consumers to be able to buy, or else it's considered illegal. So we'll find out what happens. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.